Some of you have experienced dreams, visions, things of a supernatural nature, and you don't want to share it. Maybe it was negative, maybe it's positive, but you'd be a little crazy to say it out loud because it can't be quantified, it can't be measured, it can't be experienced with the five senses. Other people have not seen it or experienced it, and so you may be a little goofy or silly for even saying something like that. One man, almost 500 years ago, understands. His name is Juan Diego, and he had 3 supernatural occurrences that happened to him over the course of many visions. Phenomena number 1. Juan Diego was an Aztec in the Mexican Valley in 1531. He was approximately 20 to 30 years old, and it was about 20 years after the Spanish conquered Mexico. Juan Diego had an uncle, Juan Bernardino, and Juan Diego had also seen a lady, a stranger, on his way to church. He would walk miles. He was an Aztec of the lowest class, and he would walk miles to church. And he saw a lady a few times. On the second or third time he saw a lady, the lady said, "Don't worry, your uncle, Juan Bernardino, is cured." Now, this is an image of the lady that Juan Diego saw, and also an image of Juan Diego's uncle, Juan Bernardino. His uncle had lived many years, and Juan Diego's had reached the average lifespan of an Aztec, which is approximately 20 or 30 years. The lady told him, wanted to talk to him, and Juan Diego said, "I'm in a hurry, I really can't stay to talk to you now." But the lady said, "Don't worry, your uncle will be cured." His uncle had a fever, cocolixdal, in the native Aztec language of the time. The Aztecs understood that if you got this fever, generally it meant death. So Juan Diego was actually on his way. He was a convert to the religion of the Spanish, and he was actually on his way walking miles to the church to get a priest to come back and pray with his uncle, Juan Bernardino. How did the lady understand that his uncle was sick, and how did she know his name, and how did she know that he would be cured at that exact moment? The uncle was cured, and he lived many years later. Miracle number 1. Phenomenon number 2. The lady asked for a chapel to be built in her honor. The lady told Juan Diego to go and tell the bishop that. Well, Juan Diego was a poor, humble Aztec, and of course the Spanish thought they were superior, and superior especially to an Aztec of his class. But he went and he listened to this lady whom he thought was a part of the Spanish religion as well. So he went to the bishop, asked him permission to asked him to build a chapel. The bishop said no. The lady appeared again, and Juan Diego said, "He won't listen to me." The lady said, "Okay, that's fine. Go up to that barren hill and pick roses." Okay, Juan Diego listened, although it was December, the middle of December, when really it's not a good growing season in Mexico. It was also on a barren hill, not a good soil or conducive soil for roses. And the roses are not native to Mexico at all. In fact, they were Castilian roses, which are only native to the Spanish area. Once Juan Diego showed the bishop the Castilian roses, the bishop immediately recognized them. How did Juan Diego get these Castilian roses? How did a poor Aztec get roses in the middle of winter on barren soil, and roses that were only recognizable to the bishop as native to his homeland? The Spanish had only been there about 20 years. Miracle number 2. Phenomenon number 3, supernatural occurrences. When Juan Diego approached the bishop and dropped his tilma. A tilma is a rectangular garment that is worn over the long flowing garments the Aztecs wore, and the tilma was typically worn by men especially. They could put things in it and then bunch it up with their hand and carry it along. So he put all these roses in his tilma in the wintertime and then bunched it up with his hand, brought it to the bishop, and when he lowered his tilma to show the bishop the roses, this image appeared on his tilma. an image of the lady he saw. The bishop immediately fell to his knees and immediately recognized this lady as part of the bishop's religion. But this lady is also full of Aztec symbolism. She is shown with the sun behind her, the stars on her garment, and the moon under her feet, to show that she is more powerful than any of the Aztec gods that they worshipped, the god of the sun, the moon, or the stars. She's shown with a necklace with a cross of the god of the Spanish people, and yet she has symbolism of the Aztecs. Her garment is a queenly colors that the Aztecs, only Aztec royalty would have worn, and there's also Aztec symbolism in her garments. She appears with the Aztec maternal belt that is right above her stomach to show that she is bearing child. And her hands are praying upwards to show that although she's greater than the Aztecs gods, there's still somebody greater than her. After she appeared, 9 million Aztecs were converted in only 3 years, which pretty much ended the conflict between the Aztecs and the Spanish and brought peace to the area. This lady, even more puzzling to this phenomena, is in her eyes. In recent decades, her eyes have been magnified 2,500 times. Inside the black of her irises is actually an image of what this painting would have seen when it was revealed to the bishop and the people of that room. Inside of her irises is an image of the bishop and a bald elderly man with a beard and a black slave, and approximately 11 other people that are still, the people analyzing the image don't know who those 11 people are. They were only able to identify 3 of them. Now at this time, in 1531, there were no synthetic colorings, and scientists have proven through infrared technology that there is also no mineral colorings, no synthetic, no mineral colorings, no animal colorings, and no brush strokes. There is no art technique used, known to man, to create this image that appeared on this humble man's garment. In fact, this garment only should last 10 years, and it's still available. We can still see the actual garment in a shrine, in a church in Mexico City today, because the bishop did build that first chapel, and he not only built that first one, but subsequent bishops have built a second chapel, a larger one, to hold all the crowds in the 19th century, and subsequent to that, a third chapel has been built, which is used now, which holds crowds of tens of thousands of people, and millions of people visit this shrine yearly. It is one of the most Catholic visited shrines in the world. Miracle number 1. How did the lady understand that Juan Bernardino was sick, and why was he cured? Miracle number 2. How did the lady understand that the bishop was from Spain and would have recognized his Castilian roses? How did they grow on a barren hill in December? And why Castilian roses? How did she know that they needed to be Castilian roses? Miracle number 3. How did this image, which has no art technique known to man, appear on a poor man's tilma made of cactus fiber? And how did it last 500 years? It has no preservation techniques known to man either. And it's still being shown right now in Mexico City. It's called Our Lady of Guadalupe, in the small area in which she appeared. Juan Diego experienced a lot of supernatural occurrences that are still unexplained and still proven to be supernatural. They cannot be explained. Science cannot explain this. When you experience supernatural things, seek answers. By their fruits, you will know them. That's a good hint. Hold on to that. If you can't find, don't just seek answers. If you can't find the right answers, do not settle for anybody who will take your money, and do not settle for anyone who will just give advice. Seek truth. How will you know truth? When you experience good fruits like love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, endurance in your life, as a result of your supernatural occurrences, it's probably a good thing. However, when you experience bad fruits like fear, anger, betrayal, grudges, it's probably a bad thing. Do not allow these things in your life. Do not allow these supernatural occurrences, and find a way for them to stop. Find another avenue for your spiritual life. And do not stop until you find peace, until you find answers, until you find truth and the right answers, because I guarantee you it's there.